I hope that they will get good story as well in Dragonflight, good cinematics and more. I don't think we can have any doubt in terms of the cinematics. The story, I'm still very
that remains
iffy.
to be seen because
The game, okay, so in terms of like the game and how it's gonna play out and gonna feel, I'm much more hopeful.
Yeah.
But in terms of the story, for me, for us, Shadowlands was such a disaster that we said we don't even care anymore. Like whatever happens,
I cannot get excited because now I have to live in a world where Shadowlands is canon. So
Yeah.
that world completely like restructured the entire characters that we know and love and flipped them on their head, and that's just weird. So right now I particularly don't have a reason to care any about the main characters. So I don't know what they're gonna do in Dragonflight. Godspeed.
There's potential there, man. There's a lot of potential to be done there, and the dragon situation and everything that's rooted with those characters is very high octane and much more grounded, and I would love for them to go there.
They need to start focusing more on existing characters and less on bringing all new characters, new 10,000 characters every expansion, because you cannot care about 20 more NPCs in each expansion when the ones that you actually... So you've played through WoD, right? You got attached to, I don't know, Anduin, let's say, right? But in BFA, it's all about Sylvanas, and then it's all about Talanji, and then it's all about Rastakhan and Buon Samedi, and now it's about the Winter Queen and the Jailers. Like, too much. Yeah. Why would you care about a character if its story it's only going to develop in that expansion? The only real character that was only relevant in one expansion that I think they really did good was Irel in Warlords of Draenor. And that's probably because they had a lot of ground going into her character that they didn't actually put into the game, but the fact that they thought it through kind of felt into the character.
True.
I loved, as much as I love Horde, I love leveling as Alliance and going with Irel from risking her from the caves.
There.
Yeah, that was a good character progression, and in the end she became like a leader, and that was really, really, really cool. They just don't do that anymore.
Duckwing says a very good point. It's not only the story, but also the way they tell it. So true, man. A lot of the story, and your example is just there. You loved the character because its story was there within the game.
Yeah.
You played alongside and you saw it, develop from point A to point Z or something. In Shadowlands, and again, I don't really want to get into the story of Shadowlands, but yes, the way they told it, and if they're gonna still do this all ass bullshit where you're gonna release a book, you're gonna release 3 different Heartbringers cinematics, which are cool, but if you're gonna put your story, the heaviest parts or the links to different story bits in those departments external rather than the game, it's a loss for people that actually care, because there are a lot of people that care for the story and really read the text and all that, and I used to do that, but I couldn't do it in Shadowlands, and not even be a fate towards the end. So Khadgar for president 2024, yes.
The mistake not making Irel relevant for the lore going forward. They fucked her up, man. The Magar intro questline, they fucked her up.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.
That was so disgusting, man.
Jesus.
They turned her fanatical, and Garrosh was there too, and he was the alternate Garrosh was fanatical. So that's, no. Sealski also says something that I actually agree with. Unpopular opinion, but 9.0 story was decent. 9.0 story, as in the Venthyr campaign, going from rescuing Prince Renathal and going into Sardathris.
The premise was good. I'll agree, Sealski. The premise was good.
The whole Venthyr storyline, that was good because it ended up like, we stopped the Nathrias from colluding with the Jailer. Okay, what's happening next? That was an okay cliffhanger. We didn't know what the Jailer would turn into, because now knowing what the Nathrias did is kind of stupid.
It got shit really fast.
I think the Nathrias Zim storyline was not developed in 9.0, but actually 9.1, where you start to get the tomes that said, the Dreadlords are not actually demons, but they're Sardathrius' pets, sent into the Burning Legion to eat Fel and become demons and whatever. That was a little bit too much for me to swallow.
Listen, I don't like how they put all of the Jailer being the one catalyst for a lot of the stuff that happened in the past. It just didn't sit right with me from the very get-go.
They're inserting things in the past. This is like
retconning to the extreme is not good for me. I loved doing the quests and stories for the majority of the Covenants. Okay, this was my jam. It was good premise. It gave me hope, but that turned shit really fast.
Yeah, that's because that's very lazy writing. They created this character Jailer that obviously they didn't have it in plan when they created the game, the World of Warcraft. Like, don't tell me that 10 years ago they thought it was like, we have this Jailer character that we're gonna reveal in 10 years. No, man, they created it now, and they needed to put its roots into the story of the World of Warcraft, and obviously the roots weren't there, so they just said it after the fact. It's like, oh, he was always a plan, right? That's just very lazy writing, very poor character development. That I don't know if that was the case because they just felt pressured to come up with a big baddie that pulls enough attention or controversy or whatever. Because of the Activision overlords, I said, okay, we need more players. By then, how do you make them all get them excited by this weird character that apparently colluded in all of the plots in Warcraft up from the very beginning? So yeah, but I honestly think that was very poor writing, and I'm hoping to see something different. And seeing something different will first have to happen for me to be able to believe that they can write a better story. I'm not gonna believe it's like, oh, maybe they can do it better. No, show me you can do better, and then maybe, oh, okay, now I see it.
A lot of people are talking about Suramar. Yeah, we talked about Suramar a lot. It's a great example.
Yeah.
And you know what? Steve Denizer worked on that. Just a fun fact. One thing that it is true, the lore reminds me of Mop. You're talking about Dragonflight, Charlie. Lore was never that great, but I enjoyed it as an expansion, to be fair. You know why it was great? Because the lore was interesting thematically and philosophically, I would go. But what was the coolest part of Mop, if you leveled up and you went through the quest and the story to the patches, you discovered shit along the way, and you were always left with that, oh my god, is this happening here? Oh my god, this happened here. It was progressively told throughout, and it left you wondering more and more, rather than have a nipple boy saying,
yeah, but that's the cool part, because Mop was based on an already existing part of the world, which is the old god Y'Shaarj, right? Which we have known before Mop was released, that god was the first victim of the Titans when they came to Azeroth. They ripped Y'Shaarj from the planet, and they almost killed Azeroth.
Well, I'm not going just like that. Just limiting to the Pandaren story, discovering only that was super nice.
That's good, and that was also done well. But the fact that it was also based on something that's like, oh yeah, I know that we know Y'Shaarj, we know the old gods. They've been affected, the Shahs and all that bullshit. It's like, okay, because you bring in a concept of the Shahs and Pandarans and Moog, but you never had anything prior to like actually explain how they exist. Then you get something again like Jailer, right? So that's why building on top of existing concepts and then actually building with something good can create a really good story.
Mop was much more heavy on exploration, and you just going out there and being just amazed on the little bits and pieces of the stories. And you also have to remember that initially Mop was received very poorly, and fair play. I mean, not a lot of people enjoyed seeing cute pandas or whatever. But once the expansion kind of developed, you saw that there was so much depth into it. I don't know. They did say, I think in another interview, they did say that they want to follow the route of Mop once again with Dragonflight. So that's another, let's say, hopeful thing to be wary of.
I mean, if they're seemingly basing their story for Dragonflight in the dragon aspects and seeing from their primordial state with Galakrond and everything, then there's at least a root there to build upon. I hope they don't introduce characters like this guy was always there around, but somehow he's just not mentioned for 15 years in Warcraft history. Random. I hope they don't do that kind of stuff.
No. So yeah, but Mop had a link to the original WoW lore. Dragonflight also does that. Timeless Isle, yes, they tried to replicate Timeless Isle in so many ways. They never could. I think the closest they got was maybe, and that's like really exaggerating, but the Mechagon maybe a little bit. Timeless Isle was one of the greatest things they ever did it within the game, and that was in Pandaria. There was, again, based on the explorations and the secrets and the toys and the rewards, and it was all there, and it was amazing. If you wanted to PvP, you got you covered. If you wanted to PvE, you got you covered. If you wanted some stories or just explore, you got you. It was such a compact place with so many things to do, man. It felt
like a mini Jurassic Park with like a lot of
exactly. It was very cool.